know where the um, obsession with red flags came from. Probably Love Island. But I want to look at that today because, it's everyone seems to have like an ick list or deal breakers or red flags. And I actually think that there's a dating epidemic. It's so hard to find love. And there's so much, there's so many single people and so many people that just are not like ending up in happy relationships or relationships. Happy is important, but I wonder if the stories we tell ourselves around red flags is something that's driving us apart. And when we get down to it, it's a story. And is it just an excuse or a thought, a group of thoughts that means that it justifies discarding someone before really giving them a chance? And so I guess today I want to talk about red flags. Where has the term, where did it come from? Why is it all of a sudden a big thing? Why is it all of a sudden that, like, go on a date, oh, he's giving me red flags? I don't know if guys doing it as much. From my experience, it's women who say there are red flags more, but I speak to women more, so it could be bias. But I'm just interested, like, how is the story of red flags creating a divide? And that's what I think. I think, like, there are stories that we tell ourselves, there are stories that we get from social media, there are stories that we get from normal media, there are stories that we get from friends, from growing up. Like, we have all of these stories that are modeling our brains and our minds, and then they are impacting how we connect with other people, how we connect culturally, how we connect socially, and how we connect with ourselves as well. Stories that we tell about ourselves keep us separate from ourselves. And so, what is this story about red flags? And why is it anything? Like, when I was 16, my first boyfriend, if I'd have dated him now, he would have got all of the red flags in the book. Like, he had a lot of red flags. I didn't even know that concept when I was 16, though. I didn't know what a red flag was. And I didn't use it as a way to judge people. And this relationship, it was a bit wild, but it was very loving. It was special. It was important. It didn't end very well. But ultimately, like, I could have written him off because of red flags. And, when you're 16, you're more likely to dive headfirst into a relationship, which is, a little bit questionable. But ultimately, it was a great relationship. And I think to myself now, I'll go on a date with someone, I'll be like, red flags, not going there, not going there, and I'll write someone off really fast because, I don't know, they've got 2 kids, 2 mums, right? That's unacceptable. What does that mean about them as a person? Or they've I don't know, they drank too much on the first date. I'm like, oh, no self-control. Right? Like, all of these things, what do they mean, really? What does it mean? And also, um, is there something more to it? So that's what I'm really interested in. I'm gonna do some I'm gonna like look into ChatGPT. All I'm doing is exploring this topic because I find it really interesting, and I find stories in general very interesting. I'm someone who has worked really hard on the stories I tell myself because they tormented me. Like, stories I told myself about not being good enough, about just all those things. They really ruined my life for the most part. I had like chronic anxiety, chronic depression. I had it so long I didn't even know I had anxiety and depression until I got rid of it. That I was like, whoa, I didn't know that you could wake up and not feel impending doom and dread. I didn't know that, like, going to bed wasn't supposed to be tragic feeling, like going to sleep and reminiscing on the day and how awful life was. I didn't know that wasn't normal. And I only got through that and stopped having that experience, that really unpleasant experience, when I saw through the stories I was telling myself. And I see stories happening everywhere, like in every aspect, and they divide us. So that's what I'm exploring in my videos at the moment. And I think just red flags in dating is just a great story to explore, isn't it? And so I'm going to share my screen, and we're gonna look at ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is going to, like, I don't know, going to give us some insights. Let's see, where was that? I did ask new chat. I'm going to do that instead. New chat, hide my search history, and then share. Where did the term red flags come from? Specifically, how come it's so prominent now in dating? And what does it actually mean? Well, that's broad, isn't it? Oh, and let's see what ChatGPT comes up with. I quite like ChatGPT. Just, I know it's not a, like, it's not going to give me the most, it's not accurate, but I'm just interested in what it comes up with. So literal warnings, danger. Okay, so the original use of red flags date back several centuries and is talking about danger. And that's important, right? Like, red flags is supposed to signal danger. And so when we are applying a red flag to someone, we are basically essentially saying they are signaling danger to me. They are giving off red flags, and that means that they are dangerous. Like, that is essentially, like, I think what we have, what is, you know, in our brain. I want to share my screen. How do I do this? How do I keep my head in here? This is like my first time of doing this. So, oh, did I share? I am sharing. Oh yeah, I can do here. Keep my head. Here we go. Do that. Share. There we go. Then I'm in it with you. Can I make you bigger? This is all new to me. Oh no, make me smaller. I mean, there you go. Let's do that. That seems like a good size. The original use of red flags dates back several centuries about signaling danger. Military and naval use in the 16 to 1800s. Railways and factories. So red flag was hoisted before battle, meaning no quarter given. In other words, a fight to the death. No quarter given. Okay, so it means a fight to the death. Railways and factories, red flags are used for physical warning, stop trains or marked dangerous machinery. Political movements. The red flag was adopted by socialist and revolutionary groups as a symbol of uprising, again, associated with danger, caution, and defiance. So from the start, a red flag meant pay attention, danger is present. So warning signs in people. By the early 20th century, the phrase started being used metaphorically. Let's get rid of my WhatsApp. Metaphorically in English, for example, in sport, psychology and medicine, mid 20th centuries, doctors began talking about red flags as a sign of underlying problems. People would say things like, that's a red flag to me. That's a sign of potential trouble in general language. Now, so, you know, we've been using this for a while, right? Like and this, you know, who knows if this is really true, but it seems to check out. Modern dating use, from warning signs to deal breakers. The relationship dating use exploded relatively recently, 1990s, especially in 2010s. I think, yeah, that would have been when I was 20, shows my age. As dating culture shifted and people started analyzing behavior more openly online. Yes, as dating culture shifted and people started analyzing more behavior openly online. Why it becomes so prominent now? Self-help. See, I think this is a big part of it. Self-help and psychology culture. As therapy speak entered mainstream conversations, terms like boundaries, gaslighting, and red flags became everyday language. I think that's really important. Boundaries, gaslighting, red flags became everyday language. Dating apps and social media. With more casual dating, and rapid relationship turnover, people started creating shorthand for identifying harmful or undesirable traits quickly. Red flags became the universal term for that. TikTok memes, TikTok and memes. Platforms like TikTok made the phrase go viral. Red flags became a meme format, even humorous, and cemented the concept in modern dating vocab. So interesting. It's saying why it's become so prominent now because of self-help and psychology culture, dating apps and social media, TikTok and memes. And so it seems to me that like a big part of it is that it's come with on the online world. And I feel like the online world has made things like it's like the disposability culture. Like it's everything's disposable. People are disposable. Like people haven't changed, you know, like I think, you know, back to my first boyfriend when I was 16, I would have really judged him and said he had red flags. You know, for a number of reasons. I won't divulge that. But and that would be how I would have judged him today. And like I would have missed out on a really great relationship and a good friendship. We stayed friends for years. Um, very significant person to me. Whereas now I'll discard someone so much faster or dismiss them so much faster based on a snap decision, based on stuff that is like stuff that I'll judge them on really fast. And I wonder if that is keeping me single, keeping me miserable, and ruining my chances for having a relationship. And it's this disposability culture. It's like it's it's this like I've got a list of men on my phone, like, you know, you can swipe left, swipe right, and that, you know, it's this ability to just be like yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. When I get in front of you, if you are not perfect, then there's always someone else. There's someone next. There's someone next. It's so like meeting people is so accessible, and meeting people in a synthetic way as well. It's not natural to just meet someone on a date. You know, like I remember old TV programs that I used to watch, which were like, I don't know, your friends would set you up on a blind date, and now you can set yourself up on a blind date in minutes because you've got an app. There's no one recommending this person to you. Not that I reckon reviews are the way forward, but you would, you know, the way I met my partners when I was younger, so late teens, early 20s, was through friends and through my community. And I feel like the communities have really dissolved, and there's been this huge shift. And I feel so bad for like the younger generation because I remember what it was like to be a part of a community, and I just missed that social media world. Like I got Facebook when I was 17, which I know makes me really uncool to Gen Z, but you know, I didn't grow up on social media, luckily. And so I experienced connection with people in my community. And I think like when you connect with people in a community, you're not connecting with them and measuring them up to be your future child's baby daddy, right? And you know, there's an age element that comes into this as well, but you're just hanging out with them. You're just talking to them. You're just being in an environment with them, which means that you can spend more time getting to know them. And then when you get to know them, you know, that closeness can be much more organic. And maybe that's it. It's like where we're not meeting people organically anymore, we're not spending time to get to know just people like on a friendship, platonic level in a community space and environment. We're forced to make snap decisions we based on what this person is presenting to me in the moment, and then I'm measuring them up against whether or not they're going to be an adequate baby daddy, which I can tell you is kryptonite to long-term dating. Men don't really like that. I've come to learn, men don't really like it if you're meeting them in the hopes that they are going to father your children. Turns out they don't like that very much. And I think, and men and women have quite different, typically, expectations when it comes to dating as well. And if you're not getting to know someone organically and through these kind of community channels, then, you're going to have differences right away, and you're going there based on your needs. And so I think it's that, right? Like, this term red flags has really come about through the rise of social media and this disposable culture. That means that there's always someone available next week who's brand new, who can now, meet all of those requirements. And we've got the luxury of quantity at our disposal. That means that we can be really judgmental. And from my experience, I've dated people who I thought had red flags, and then after a while I was like, I completely misunderstood them. Like, the things I thought were bad about them were actually, I just misunderstood, or I didn't know the detail well enough, like, because everyone has a story. And I mean, I've definitely, you understand my life, I've definitely got red flags. So I don't really know who I am to judge. I don't think that means that you shouldn't be discerning and you shouldn't have a standard for how you want to be treated. But I think it's just this rise of red flags culture. I think it's a really good way to keep yourself separated. And obviously, it's almost like this filter you put over people right away. It's like it's a way of putting a label on them and summarizing them very quickly without getting to know them. And that's where I think, like, the story element comes into it, because what does it mean? What does it mean about them? What does it mean about who they are as a person? It's hard to tell. So I'm interested in what you guys have to say on that. And I want to quickly maybe share the last bit of what ChatGPT has said. I quite like it. I like this as a little source. So what red flags means in dating now. Modern sense, a red flag is a behavior, attitude, or pattern that suggests potential harm, incompatibility, or unhealthy dynamics if the relationship continues. They talk badly about their exes, red flag. They ignore your boundaries, red flag. They love bomb you too quickly, red flag. They isolate you from family or friends, red flag. In other words, they're early warning signs someone's behavior could lead to emotional hurt, toxicity, or control down the line. Now, these are all, I would say, legitimate red flags. Like, these are all legitimate red flags. I actually did have an experience where I dated someone who did talk badly about their ex, and that was a bit of a warning sign to me. I was like, don't know how I feel about that, because it's assuming the other person's in the wrong. That guy I dated, was so horrible to me. Red flags didn't seem to matter all that much to me. I'm not that discerning, am I? But yeah, if someone's, I mean, it's not great if someone talks badly about their exes, is it? I don't really like that. If they ignore your boundaries, also not great. They love bomb you quickly, not great. They isolate you from friends or family, not great. Red flags start as literal danger, signals on the battlefield and railways. Over time, it evolved into a metaphor for warning signs of trouble. In dating, it's dating, meaning behaviors that predict unhealthy relationships, took off in the last couple decades thanks to therapy language, online dating, and meme culture. So yeah, I mean, those were good examples of red flags that I probably wouldn't, I might not ignore. I don't really know what to do about that. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know how to be. I don't know. I think I'm more just exploring the problem that modern dating is really hard, and it feels like people are really disposable. And I do think that red flags is thrown around really fast. And it justifies us not giving people a chance. That being said, I mean, if they isolate you from your friends and family, that's a different no, I would say. But who am I to judge? So that's the end of my first video talking about how stories fuck with you, basically, and can ruin connection, and they can divide us. However, sometimes they keep you safe. So just remember that. It's just sometimes they can get maladaptive, right? That's the whole point. A story, the things that we tell ourselves, our defense mechanisms are there to keep us safe. But are they fully functional in your life? Are they helping you make healthy decisions? Are they just keeping you too safe? Are they actually preventing you from doing something that scares you, which is being vulnerable, getting to know someone, looking past some scary things, not all scary things, some scary things. And that's it. That's all I've got to say on the matter. Thanks for watching my first video, and I hope it was interesting.